Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings as always to the hopefully elect, the sincere, Akim and Akwath. Listen and learn and keeping the faith and diligence of our Lord, Yahweh Shai. All right, so the Lord is visiting the earth clearly. You look all around the earth, there's all kind of calamities going on, whether it be severe drought, flooding, storms taking place, tempests, as the scriptures refer to them as. And these things are unprecedented. We've never seen a time where, we've just had that hurricane, Helene, rip through the south, mainly in the Appalachian Mountains. Now you got this one to follow up, Hurricane Milton. Now, as of yesterday, I believe it was like a Category 2. Then overnight it jumped to a 3. Now today, it's jumped to a Category 5 storm. And, we really ain't never seen nothing like this. Like a Category 5 is really like, used to be every now and then type of thing. Like you might have a Category 5 one year, but then you wouldn't see another one for quite some time. Well, these things are happening back to back. So this is the Lord turning up on these Babylonians, and it's really because of the wickedness and pride that exists here. When you go to 2nd Ezra, the 8th chapter, and around verse 50, it says that many great miseries shall befall those that dwell in the latter times, because they have walked in great pride. Right? Also because this is now the time for America to start getting touched. This place need to be judged for all the wickedness that's been done to the Lord's people. All of the just this blatant satanic behavior that goes on here. The Lord is now addressing it. All right. So this Hurricane Milton, is now a Category 5. They're saying that there's 160 mile per hour winds, and people are afraid. Like, they're actually actively evacuating people that live in South Florida out of that area, because this thing is set to be bad. All right, so now is the time where we need to have our eyes glued to prophecy, because the Lord is definitely turning up, man. Like, we're in that season where, as we always say, many things are about to come forth. But this right here is the Lord visiting the earth. And as a matter of fact, let's go here to 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. So we are to measure the time diligently in itself, which means what? Paying attention to the signs, all right, looking at the things going on and plugging it back into what is written, all right? And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I've told thee before, prophecy, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time, wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So these storms and these hurricanes, all these tornadoes and, earthquakes and things like that, this is the Lord visiting the earth. Okay, this is judgment from on high. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, as a testament to what? That the words of Yahweh Bashim Shai are faithful and true. All of what the Lord said would happen in these latter days, pertaining back to prophecy, these things are happening. All right, so you can't gainsay, you can't plug your ears and say la 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 no more. No, you got to deal with this. All right, you have to deal with what the prophets are saying. All right, so now we can go back to the video. And so this thing is a Category 5.
The history books, we've only had 10 Category 5 hurricanes in our recorded history in the Gulf of Mexico. And we're looking at one of them right here, this little pin eye. It's a small storm, but it's extremely intense. The eye is only 10 miles wide, and that's where these 160-mile-per-hour winds are. Yesterday at this time, it was 60 miles per hour. It has increased 100 miles per hour in 24 hours. That's only happened once in our recorded history with Hurricane Wilma. And, of course, that also hit Florida. So here's the forecast from the Hurricane Center. They have it being a strong Category 5, likely peaking in intensity tonight into tomorrow morning, and then going to a Category 4 during the day on Tuesday. Wednesday from a 4, hopefully a little bit lower down to a 3 as we get landfall. That cone of uncertainty goes up to Cedar Key, Florida, and all the way down to the Fort Myers Beach area. And so this is a highly populated region that, of course, includes Sarasota, St. Petersburg, and all of the Tampa Bay area. We're going to be watching very closely. We still have at least 48 hours, maybe 60 hours to landfall. We'll be watching all of our computer models. A couple have been far to the south, and if that did happen, landfall could be as early as Wednesday afternoon. But the Hurricane Center is saying they don't believe these. They think they have some errors going on with them. So we're watching all of these northern models. The black lines of the Hurricane Center, these all show a landfall as we go through late Wednesday evening towards midnight, maybe 8 p.m. to midnight would be a time frame here, Sarasota to Tampa Bay region. If we go further north, it would be even later than that. So that'll be one of the trends to watch. But unfortunately for our friends in the Disney complex, Universal Studios, all the I-4 corridor through Orlando, this could be a remnants of what Charlie did. This could make landfall as a major hurricane and still be a Category 2 or Category 1 hurricane over central Florida as we go throughout Thursday night into Thursday morning. I was there for Charlie in Orlando. It was extreme tree damage and people didn't have power for weeks. So, obviously the worst destruction will be on the coast with this storm surge, Andrea, but even inland, we could have extreme wind damage and people without power for weeks. And, Andrea, you think of how taxed FEMA is right now with what they're dealing with in North Carolina and Georgia and South Carolina. Adding this onto the plate, this is just, it's horrible for so many. But just for the history books.
Yeah, so this storm is looking bad. And as you heard the news anchor say, that FEMA is pretty much already dealing with a lot, which, FEMA is, full of shit because they are, they've made the statement that they don't have the funds to deal with what's going on in North Carolina. Okay, you even have reports coming out that people that are trying to send aid to those people that were affected by Hurricane Helene in North Carolina, some people try to use drones. They try to drive up there, and try to get assistance, but the government hasn't been letting them. All right, like they're shooting down drones. That they're not allowing. They're not allowing people to get past a certain point because we already know what's going on with that whole thing. They want that quartz and they want that lithium, and they also want to depopulate. You see what I'm saying? So these storms, they're definitely being weaponized by Esau. You know what I'm saying? Like Esau got the harp, he can intensify the storms and he can bring them down. But at the end of the day, it's the Lord that's working with this man. All right, because you have to understand that Esau, he's the sword of the Most High. All right, so the Most High will use Esau, he'll use the devil to perform, wicked acts upon the earth as judgment. Like the Lord works through Esau. You see? So all of what's going on with this storm here, they're talking about the storm surge is going to go far inland, so you're going to see a lot of flooding, a lot of rain come down. All right. So this thing ain't looking good, but this is just a sign of the times, because what's the odds that you have one Category 5 hurricane come through and then a week or 2 weeks after, you got another Category 5, which I remember doing lessons earlier this year going into the coming hurricane season, that this was going to be an unprecedented hurricane season. And so far, that's what it is, unprecedented. Okay, a lot of damage, a lot of destruction has been taking place with these storms that have been coming up. All right, and this ain't the end of it, you know what I'm saying? But when you consider Florida, there's a lot of wickedness going on in Florida, all right? Really the whole of America, but, as the forecaster mentioned, Orlando, Disney Studios. We already know what goes on with Disney, you know, as far as child trafficking and satanic witchcraft and all that kind of stuff. Like that's big in Florida, man. Like you got a lot of Jake, you know, Haitians and you know, such the like that are into witchcraft, that are into voodoo, you know, left hand magic and things like that. You know, that's practiced heavily down there, man. That's actually a culture. All right. So you have a lot of wickedness going on in Florida, down south, period. You know what I mean? And yeah, this is the Lord bringing his wrath, bringing his recompense upon the wicked. All right. Now, let's go. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 29. You know what? Let's hold that and let's go to Sirach 39 and 29, because this is vengeance, right? Yeah, Sirach 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance, okay? So fire, hail, famine, death, these were created for vengeance, to punish the Lord's enemies, to punish the wicked. Okay, also teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. So the Lord has created things in the earth that are set up to punish those that are against the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. And we're in a time, you have to keep this in mind as well, we're in a time where rebellion against Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is at an all-time high. All right, this earth is full of wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Outside of those that fear the Lord, you know, the elect remnant, you know, this earth is engulfed in complete darkness, you know, and the Lord has been long suffering, allowing these people to go on in their wickedness and, you know, pretty much have their way. See, but now their evil ways are now being addressed, you see? And the Lord is definitely turning up the judgment on these wicked individuals, man. Zephaniah 3 and verse 1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. All right, which that oppressing city is who? It's America, Babylon the Great. All right, America has oppressed and destroyed the saints, which are the Israelites. All right, verse 2. She obeyed not the voice, she received not correction. She trusted not in the Lord, she drew not near to her God. Her princes within her are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones till the marrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law. Verse 5. The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. And these hurricanes, these storms, these earthquakes, you know, famines that are occurring, drought, these are the Lord's judgments that are being brought to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. See? The unjust knoweth no shame. So even though all these things are going on, you still have wickedness at an all-time high. You still have people continuing to blaspheme Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, continuing to come up against the truth, not wanting to hear the truth. All right? Verse 6, I have cut off the nations, their towers are desolate. I have made their streets waste, that none passeth by. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is none inhabitant. That's ultimately what's going to happen. Okay, but the Lord is already performing this work, man. The Lord is already cutting these nations down. All right, bringing their pride low to the ground, man. Okay. Isaiah chapter 29. And let's see here. Isaiah chapter 29. Let's start at verse 4. And thou shalt be brought down, and shalt speak out of the ground, and thy speech shall be low out of the dust, and thy voice shall be as of one that hath a familiar spirit out of the ground, and thy speech shall whisper out of the dust. Moreover, the multitude of thy strangers shall be like small dust, and the multitude of the terrible ones shall be as chaff that passeth away. Yea, it shall be at an instant suddenly. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and with great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. See that? So the Lord is visiting the inhabitants of the earth, all right, with storms, okay, with earthquakes, with you know, famine, okay, great noise, fear, All right. The Lord is about to show these people what fear truly is, because they don't know what fear is. All right. And if they knew what fear was, then they would fear Yahweh Basham Shai. You see? So you know what? I want to go to you know what? Let me get this here. Milton supercharged to mega category 5 storm, potentially rivaling pre-Civil War hurricane. Showing you traffic jams right there. That's going on I-275, I-4. All right, because people trying to get out the way. You know what I'm saying? They trying to get out of Dodge because the storm about to be serious. I-275. Yeah. Hey, look, man. The Lord bringing that judgment to Babylon the Great. This thing serious, man. It says, meteorologist Mike Masco noted there is the potential for some additional increase in intensity through the day. Latest short-range, high-resolution forecast models show a landfall in the Tampa, St. Petersburg area by Wednesday night. This type of direct hit, as well as intensity based on the going forecast, has not been seen since the 1848. That hurricane was believed to be a Category 4. So what they saying is that right before the Civil War happened, 1848, there was a category. They believe it to be a Category 4 hurricane. So could this be an omen of things to come? You know, that's pretty much what they saying, that, hey, the last Civil War that America had, a hurricane preceded that. You know, and we're definitely in a time of civil war. You know, it ain't no doubt about that. We're definitely in a time where tensions are very high. You know, people have pretty much had enough, and that sentiment of civil war is being stirred up now even more because these Edomite Babylonians, they are really seeing the true colors of the government show forth. You know, because of what's going on with that whole Hurricane Helene thing and FEMA and all of what they got going on. You know, so now the people are like, yo, F America, like F these governments, F these politicians. And when you go into Second Ezra's, the 15th chapter, it speaks about that, where it says, matter of fact, let me just go to it real quick. Second Ezra 15, you know, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, I think that's, yeah, Second Ezra 15 and 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. What is that? Civil war. Okay, Egyptian against Egyptian, right? 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You see that? So we're in that time, you know, where civil war is definitely on the table. You see, we'll see what the aftermath of this Hurricane Milton is. Yeah, so check that out. The Tampa Bay hurricane of 1848, it formed in the Bay of Campeche and then tracked eastward, making landfall near Tampa, Florida as a Category 4 with a maximum sustained wind speed of 130 miles per hour. So this happened in 1848, right before the Civil War. All right. So could this be an omen? Apocalyptic flooding in Dubai in April, which was amplified by cloud seeding. Yeah, you know, these devils got things going on to intensify the damage. You know, cloud seeding, you know, using that HARP technology to bring about more destruction. But the bottom line is the Lord is working in the earth, man. Okay, the Lord is bringing these things forth. It don't matter if it's a man-made storm or, you know, if you know, the Lord just, you know, brought this thing about. Either way, it still goes back to Yahweh Basham Shai, because the Lord is in control of all things upon the earth. Hurricane Milton has explosively intensified into a Category 3 storm and continues churning in the western Gulf of Mexico on Monday morning, with crosshairs on Florida's Gulf Coast. On Sunday, the Florida Division of Emergency Management announced the largest evacuation since 2017. This new tropical threat comes 11 days after Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida's Big Bend region. Meanwhile, the Biden-Harris administration's FEMA has faced mounting criticism for mishandling the initial relief response in North Carolina. The latest advisory note from the National Hurricane Center shows Milton has maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour or Category 3 strength. Now it's a Category 5. This means the hurricane is now a major storm. There is an increasing risk of life-threatening storm surge and damaging winds for portions of the west coast of the Florida Peninsula beginning Tuesday night or early Wednesday. And get this to close out. Milton is expected to cause a storm surge in the Tampa Bay area with forecasts ranging between 8 and 12 feet. This is much higher than Hurricane Helene when the area recorded 7 to 8 feet of storm surge. Yeah, so that storm surge is going to be crucial, and especially if you live in Tampa Bay. The waters from the Tampa Bay is going to come inland. You know what I'm saying? So this is why they're telling people to evacuate, because flooding is going to be serious down there. All right. So this is a time, brothers out there in Tampa, pray for brothers, pray for brothers in Florida, wherever this hurricane is going to hit. All right. Because, yeah, man, the Lord is definitely sending out his wrath, but we also need to pray that in the midst of wrath to remember mercy. You know what I'm saying? So you want to pray for the Lord to remember you, in the midst of his judgment that's going out, man. All right. So yeah, Hurricane Helene did that damage, man, but this one right here, it ain't looking too good. All right. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Just want to make that a quick update. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying through Rakah Kadash, called Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. And until next time, Lord willing, Shalom to the elect, Kum Yasha'Allah, and a Bible Bar.